Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where I'm going to give you a reaction and review to PINHEEL SURFER by Scandal as part of Scandal Weekend. And as always, as you're probably used to by now, if you want to see the reaction, I just recorded it, and you can watch that now by pausing this, the review video, clicking the little link in the description below, which will open up a separate little player that will show you the reaction. So if you haven't heard the song before, if you just want to see my initial reaction to it, you can click that now and pause this video and then come back. Well, I'll give you the review afterwards. So are you ready? Because I'm going to give you the review now. Remember, pause this video if you want to watch the reaction first. Otherwise, here comes that review. Are you ready? Don't say I didn't warn you. Here we go. All right, PINHEEL SURFER. Totally different from anything we'd heard up until this point, and I've got nothing against that. I really love the fact that it adds a little bit of colour, a little bit of difference to what they do. Like I say, I'm aware that a lot of the things that I most liked about this song probably were connected to that string sound that was added there. This little string section was really enjoyable. And I think it added a lot of the colour and identity to this. And yes, I know that I'm assuming that it's not them playing that. However, you can't take away from the fact that it is all part of the song that's being produced. And it is really nice. And on top of that, the vocal harmonies as well. Beautifully done. So this was just a really interesting song. I'm guessing this is one of the ones they wrote themselves as well, which would further legitimise the use of the strings if it's part of how they've written the song. Sorry, hiccup from all the coffee I've been drinking whilst doing this. So yeah, like I said, I enjoyed this on its own merits. However, we have to, as always, give the positive and negative a fair balanced review of this. Now, there are some things that maybe didn't work for this. I felt that it didn't feel like it quite earned its 5-minute runtime, and I think one of the reasons for that was because after we got out the second chorus, you had the nice little bridge, but nothing particularly different happened there that really built up on it. I think this is one of the songs that could have really benefited from a key change bridge. It just felt like it kind of stuck in a similar vein. There was no sort of added change to the feeling or the emotion of the song that could then be turned around and sort of steered back from to give you a nice ramp into the final chorus. And the arrangement didn't really feel like it was building up to the final chorus either. It just kind of felt like it went through the bridge and then just final chorus arrived. So I must admit the last sort of minute or so of this song felt a little bit underwhelming, which was a shame considering it had such an interesting arrangement and an interesting sound to it. You felt like that was something that could have been really used to make the most out of, making an interesting build to an interesting crescendo. However, that's a small complaint. Basically, it was, it was really good. And I know this was one of those songs that wasn't going for sort of big dramatic builds. It was just going for a nice sort of plodding, like I say, nostalgia. I think that's the word to go for. A very nostalgic feel. It feels like it's sort of harkening back to a more carefree sort of late 60s, early 70s sound. And in that sense, therefore, I can completely understand the sound they were going for. However, I do think that maybe it could have supported its runtime a bit better with a little bit more thought going into the bridge and how that would bring you into that final crescendo chorus. Other tan that, though, I mean, that's a minor complaint. Considering that I think that what they've achieved here is an interesting extra string in the bow of their sound. It sounds like a nice, like I say, a nice bit of variation, and any band who can have this kind of variation, it needs to be appreciated. It's a great thing. We don't see enough of this, especially from, basically rock bands. I mean, I know they're more on the pop element of that, but they are effectively a rock band. They all play rock instruments. It's your rock arrangement, 2 guitars, bass, and the drum kit. So to hear something like this is really good. And now I mentioned in 2 of the videos that we did before on Scandal Weekend about the fact that I was not a big fan of the stuff where they were choreographed in it. This is a bit of an exception because this one, it didn't feel so much like, getting them to do, sort of dances with guitars and things. This was one where clearly it was done as a pop tune. And, because they were hands-free, they were kind of moving around a little bit more. You could see kind of their enjoyment a bit more. It wasn't sort of like, oh, well, you're already playing guitar, now do these moves. It was kind of like, let's just make this a dance video and enjoy dancing. So they looked kind of more free and like they were having fun in this. So yeah, actually, this was one where the more choreographed style just kind of worked, and I kind of liked the way they did that on this. They just sort of lent into the identity of what the song already was, which was a pop song. So yeah, cool for that. The song itself had a nice feel in that it was kind of smooth throughout, all very light and smooth flowing, but it had that pre-chorus, which was cool in that it had a little bit more punch just there, just to break things up, which was nice. Also, that fed nicely into the choruses. Not so much the last one, unfortunately, but the first 2 choruses definitely. This was just a song that felt like it was, okay, maybe not perfect, maybe it could have been done a little bit better, but it really worked for what it was. And just to repeat a couple of points, but to say them because I really think this is important. The strings were brilliant, but also the vocals, just the whole way the vocal came together. They did do it as a pop group. You really felt like it was done like a girl band would do it. And I say that as no air of insult at all. Actually, as a compliment that they could take on the role so well. Each singer had their own little, or each member had their own little singing bit from what I could see, which they nicely identified their own voices in, well, nicely represented with their own voices, gave it their own identity through that. And then you had the more choral bits where they all sung together. You know, it basically felt like Scandal being a girl group whilst also playing their own instruments behind it, but pulling it off perfectly competently in a way that sounded nice. And yeah, I just think this is a really good variation against everything else they've done. The video was fun as well. I liked, like I say, that you could see the personality on their faces while they were doing everything, but also, you know, like I say, when they were singing their individual lines, each member got to really stand up and put their face, their personality to what they were singing, and, you know, add, if you like, represent themselves in there. So this was just a really pleasant listen. Overall, is it one that I would come back to? I don't think it was quite catchy enough to... Oh, I'm getting a phone call. One moment. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Anyway, so yes, basically in final conclusion, I liked the balance of this song, and although maybe it's not going to be something which is really going to register as like a classic, still getting hiccups from that coffee I've been drinking, even though it's not probably going to be one that's going to register as a classic that I'm going to come back to time and time and again in a Scandal playlist, I think it would be a welcome variation. And the video really, to me, highlights a group doing something different, and you know, I just, like I say, I like what that means for them as an eclectic artist. So as always, get in the comments, tell me what you guys think, tell me if you agree or disagree, whether you like this song or not. I imagine this is one that might well divide a lot of Scandal fans as well, although you guys did vote it up as being one for me to check out. So really looking forward to seeing what you guys think in the comments, like I say, whether you're a Scandal fan or not. And as always, liking and subscribing is greatly appreciated. You can get more involved in the discussion by following our Discord, which is linked in the description below. Lots of Scandal fans on there. Our Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, merch, all that stuff. It's all linked in the description below. And a big thank you to our Patreon supporters for keeping the lifeblood of this channel pumping. And a big thank you to you for making it through to the end of this rather waffly, once again, video. So, gracias to you all. And until I hopefully, I can't pronounce Spanish properly, until I hopefully see you soon in Japan for the next video, which is actually going to be the final Scandal video of Scandal Weekend. Until then, for now. Ciao, ciao.